Still with the camera2 Rubik's Cube, we've got a CaptureRequest, and we have a CameraCaptureSession. Whoa! Welcome to Mobile Application Tutorials. My name's Nigel. In the previous tutorial we learned how to create a camera device. We needed that because you need the camera device to create capture sessions and camera crates, which are needed for camera crate sessions, which is actually calling your desired implementation from the camera features. So let's make a start. Okay, let's go back up to the top here. From the previous tutorial, we opened the camera and we successfully created a camera device, and we assigned that to our CameraDevice member. I'm going to comment out this toast and I'm going to create a new function. I'm going to call it create camera preview session. Basically, we're creating a session for our preview capture screen. Okay, now I just need to implement that method. I'll do it at the bottom here. And first thing we need to do is put in our catch harness. If we have any problems with accessing the camera. Right, first thing I'm going to do is all functionality, whether you want to capture an image or display a preview on your screen, is done in the implementation of a surface. So we need to attach the surface, the texture view that we created to a surface in the camera itself. So first of all, I need to create a surface texture. And I can get that from our TextureView that we created in one of the previous tutorials. So once I got that surface texture, I need to set a default buffer size, and that default buffer size is going to be the preview dimensions that we set up in two tutorials ago. So we've got M preview size, and we can get the width and the height for that. Right, now that I've set up my surface texture, the surfaces that the camera requires, I can now get that from by feeding in my surface texture. So we create a new member called surface. I'm going to call it my preview surface. We create a new surface and pass in our surface texture as an argument. Okay, now I want to add that surface to my session, to the actual camera itself. To do that, I need to create what we call CaptureRequest. So I need to create a member for that. So I'm going to, if I go down here, I'm going to create a new member, for my CaptureRequest. It's actually called CaptureRequest, and I'm going to call it mPreview capture. And we get a helper method, we get a helper functionality with this. It's a builder just to help build our request. So we'll create a member for that as well. And it's a builder. So we'll just call it mPreview. I'll call it builder. Okay, so those are the two methods I need to actually set up a request. And this is required before you actually try to create a session. So we'll go back down to our method. And I need to initialize my CaptureRequestBuilder. And the CameraDevice member will allow us to get set up the CaptureRequestBuilder. So we can create a camera capture request, and we need to pass in a template for the preview. So template preview that. So we'll now set up our CaptureRequestBuilder. Now we can add our surface to that. We're calling add targets and passing in the preview surface. Okay, we're now in a position to create our session. So to do that, we'll call our CameraDevice again and create capture session. The first argument it wants is the surface or surfaces that is required for that session. For the session, we've only got one surface, our preview surface. So we're just going to add our preview surface. Now I'm going to create a new camera capture session. Just let me tidy up the very bottom of this just to complete this overall create camera session. Okay, first thing we want to do in onConfigured is just to check that we've still got our CameraDevice object. So it's not equal to null. If it is, we'll just return out of there. Okay, right, now I'm going to add another try-catch harnesses in this callback method. For we're going to be calling camera resources again. Okay, now I want to create my CaptureRequest object. And I can build that from my builder. Just by calling build. Right, now I want to, I need to create two more variables here. One's going to be for my camera capture session. So I'll go back up the top here and create two more variables. So one's going to be the camera capture session. I need to have a capture callback for that as well, so I'll create that now. Oh, and I'll call this M session callback, M session capture callback. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for this part here. Don't really need to use any of the callback methods at this stage. Okay, so I've created the camera capture session and camera capture session callback. Go back to my method here. So we've actually got a session provided to us, a configured session provided to us, so we can assign that to our member. Right, now it's a matter of setting up our session. And I'm going to call setRepeatingRequest, which is appropriate for what we want to do. What we want to do is just keep on capturing images to our preview display in the form of what we'll see as a video, but a preview. So it's continuous images being fed to our surface preview. And the first argument it wants is a request, and that's just above here what we created, mCaptureRequest. And the next one's going to be the capture callback method that we created for the capture session. And the last part is just going to be null. In other words, I'm going to run this on the actual main UI thread. No optimizations done at this stage of the development for the Camera2 application. Okay, that seems to look okay here. Down here, if we get anything happening going wrong, I just want to display a toast. And roughly put some text in here saying create camera session failed. And make that short. Okay, I do have an error up here. Let's see what that is. Okay, that's the method call itself. Was just missing the braces. Okay, just to summarize what we've done here. This is what was required for our session. We needed to create the surface that that the Camera2 API requires. That surface represents our preview, so we set up that. Then we had to create a request, which we added our surface to, and then we used the to create a request. We used the CameraDevice. We also used the CameraDevice to create the session here. And inside the session, we passed it the request, and then we set up a repeating request with our capture request information, and also passed back the callback to be called after the request has been sent. And we also set up a onConfigureFailed in case the creation of our session failed. Okay, let's try running this code and see what happens. and I record it. Okay, what do we have here? We actually have a working preview using our back-facing camera. Don't want to show you too much of my messy little office studio, but you get the idea. So, can't capture an image at the moment, we actually haven't set that up, but the preview part of our camera application is now working. Let me stop recording. As with the normal flow of these tutorials, we're just going to step through the code changes we made with debug. So let me set up a breakpoint here and put one in each of the callback methods. So one for onConfigured and one in case we have something go wrong, we'll have a toast come out. Now let's run debug. Okay, I've hit the first breakpoint, we can start stepping through this code. First part was creating our surface texture, which is required for actually creating a surface that's required for the camera. And remember, this surface is going to be the preview surface for the camera. And we needed to initialize our surface texture with the default buffer sizes from the previous tutorial where we set them up from the in preview size. And now we create the actual surface that's going to be fed to the camera request. Before we can pass it to the camera request, we need to set up our CaptureRequestBuilder object, and we got that from the CameraDevice. Once we've got the CameraRequestBuilder, it's a matter of adding our surface to the CaptureRequestBuilder, and then with the CameraDevice we can create our actual session. I'll keep on running that. Okay, so we're inside our onConfigured callback. onConfigured is good. It means our configuration of our session capture session request is successful, so we can move forward. Now we want to check to see if the CameraDevice is still available. It is. And now we can set up our repeating request. In other words, our preview is just going to be a series of images continuously displayed to the surface of our application, which is our TextureView. So we need to create our capture request using the CaptureRequestBuilder build. And then up here we've been provided a working session from the callback, and we assign that to our method. And then it's a matter of set up this repeating request of continuous flow of images, and we're passing in the capture request and the capture request callback as well that we just set up before, and we carry on executing it, and we have a bit of a preview of an image. And you're probably just seeing here is reflection of the display. The display on this phone is very reflective. It's debugged, so it's going to be a bit juddery, but yeah, you can see it. So that works. That completes the first part of our camera implementation. It's pretty important for a mobile device. You can actually see what you're taking a photograph of, and so we've set up the surface preview for that. And so for anything like capturing an image, which is probably going to be the next step, you'll need to set up a surface for that. If you want to take a video, you just need to set up a surface for that. But the fundamental processes of the way you step through of creating a surface, creating a capture request, and then a camera capture session, those will be the same sort of steps that you'll go through each time. Anyway, that concludes this part of the tutorial. If you like and enjoy my tutorials, subscribe. That's all for this one. Bye for now. So it's running fine. We can still go for our upper gallery through here. It's scrolling is quite fast on here. So we probably don't see much, but we are shifting across. Certain potential time-consuming tasks are now operating on our background task.